Today I was meant to do a completely different video, but I was so overwhelmed by sadness from this news about the Supreme Court in America, reproductive rights, all of this suppression of people, suppression of good people. It's going on for so long. We all a little bit exhausted about it. But I wanted to share with you how I see it and what we can do about it. So I would say that attacking the productive rights and making women going through pregnancies or bringing to the world unwanted children and creating stress on the foster adoption. America is so bad at that. They're not even caring so good for their kids, not to mention to force everyone to not to be able to decide if they can handle a child, if they can handle a pregnancy. And it touches all. For some of us, it's in our face, and I'm sure you feel it if you care, if you observe society and know the history of your own mother and grandmothers. It is something that hurt us deeply. And why is that? I was busy with that for a long time, especially when I was having children. And I will call it fertile trauma. And we have to take it seriously because the beautiful fertility of us, which is a God gift that we are bringing to humanity and that we got from creation itself, when it's used against us, like it was the last 1,000 years, it has a really long trauma for humanity. And whatever culture or group or religion you come from, it's on a tribal, genetic level, it's on a historical level, it's on a personal level, it is there. And what I would like us to do is first to acknowledge that we are hurting. We are hurting to realize that some people will go through a hard time, and for all the American sisters and brothers that are fighting for this, and they will have to fight because we are on a, on the axis of the people power, the controlling power. And I believe that we will prevail. The future, Aquarius future, is of the people. The people will win. But it's still hurting. It's hurting us. What can I say? It's not, you cannot decorate it in any way. It hurts us to see suppression of people anywhere. The Ukrainian people want to have their freedom. The Chinese people have to be in very strict lockdowns. The American people who don't get to even have health care that we can respect. We love you so much. We love you so much. So we're hurting. So what I would like to say is that the first step for us to do anything with this collective energy is to acknowledge our pain about fertility. I call it a fertility trauma and not motherhood trauma, because it is about the ability to be fertile in a way that it's beyond any person. It is God-given. And when other people want to interfere in other people's bodies, it's shocking. It's shocking. So let's take a minute just to acknowledge the sadness. I really could not scrape myself off the floor. Then I decided to make this video so maybe I can communicate with you and see how you're doing, how you feel about it. I know that on a personal level, all people, and especially women, are somehow meeting this fertility pain. If you had too much fertility or you didn't have at all fertility, in a certain point we are confronted with it. Also, in this time, if you want to have children and you have children, or if you wanted to have children and you could not have children, and if your society absolutely doesn't value you without becoming a mother, all of these issues, that's why I started the Happy Goddessa. Now the Happy Goddessa is going inside the Fertile Ground tribe because it's a really big part of it, but it cannot stand alone. It is in the context of our whole being and how we structure our society. So let's take a big breath. We're still fighting for basic care and compassion. And let's look for a second on our own personal pain. I remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I wanted to be pregnant, and I actually was very conscious. My husband and I decided that we would like to welcome a soul, and we had a beautiful evening and ritual, and we literally invited her in. So it happened very consciously, which is very good for our children. You know, the conception time, the energy of conception, the energy of pregnancy, the energy of everything, including the birth, it's all leaving psychological print on our children. So when by force women have to carry to term pregnancy they don't want, they don't have energy, it's traumatizing for the society, not only for the women and her family. But when I got pregnant, I remember the feeling of being shocked. I felt like a bit invaded by an alien. You know, somehow it got in and started to invade me. And I remember that I was shocked, and I thought, if I feel like that and I wanted to have this child and to be pregnant, how other women feel. And working with my own family line, which is really deeply part of my work and what we will be doing in the Fertile Ground Tribe, and everything that I'm doing, it is going back into our essence, but also deeper into our ancestors, and then it gets into the collective consciousness. It brings us to what happened to us in our birth, and what happened to our mothers and to our grandmothers. And with every person I ever worked with, there was always traumatic stories around that. Humanity has so much to heal. We don't need to go backwards to create more wounds in our societies, but we can see in our world that there are those forces who's trying to keep us in drama, in trauma, and in fear. That's what I'm saying. Let's acknowledge that we feel sad and exhausted from the fact that we are still have to fight about things that looked like we solved that already. Okay, let's take a big breath, because humanity is about to make a big jump. So let's take a big breath. And because instead of looking at the demolition tooth, the tooth that is rotten and about to come out of the mouth, let's look at the new tooth that is growing. And nothing can stop us. Nothing can stop us. Humanity is about to make a big leap in its evolution. And shocking and news like these, it's just showing us where we are growing our reserve. So we will prevail. We are awesome. We are amazing. And we're especially amazing and powerful because we care, because we have a heart and not only a head. We have a heart, and we know how to care for other people on the other side of the world, and how to send them strength. And that is changing the paradigm of our consciousness on our planet. So please, you allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. And let's take another breath for that, because we're still a little bit sad, and we're still a little bit shocked, and sometimes angry and exhausted. So let's take another breath. The reason why we all have fertility traumas in our family, because we all have ancestors that got pregnant in a way that was less than loving. We all have it in our DNA. And it's not only a women trauma, it's also men trauma. I knew a man once that had a trauma from seeing his drunk father dominating the house, and his mother getting pregnant and getting so depressed from having to run another marathon of a whole pregnancy and another birth, and then to care for another child she could hardly pay for. So many men understand this trauma, and it's not only a woman issue. It's a freedom of our people and society. So we are all in it together. If women are suppressed in Afghanistan or in the United States, on a collective consciousness, we are all in it. So I take another breath for that. because we want to feel our feelings. We want to feel the rage, which some of us have, or the deep sadness, or the deep grief. Just allow ourselves to feel this, because this is our power. This is our power to transmute, and that will create change. And there's a lot of change coming. America is also going, United States is also going to be the country that will have its own Pluto return. So there are going to be big changes with Supreme Court, with respecting the Constitution. So how interesting that some of us who live outside the United States have such a love to the United States and have such admiration to the Constitution, believing that it is influenced with divine power, that the institution, the Constitution. Not that it's perfect. It will evolve, but we want the land of the free to be really free, because if it's not going to happen there, like we all feel, it's affecting our own countries. And I know it very well, coming from Israel. The American influence is hard. If America is going to have a Reagan years where all programs for people, for arts are being cut, suddenly it came to our countries because America set the tone. We love our American friends, but we're also worried if we are going to be on the right direction. So the thing is that we are in the right direction. And it's extraordinary how much consciousness and power is being now emerging from the people. We are the people all over the world. I would like to take another breath for that. That's our cheers. Take a breath, yes? Yeah. We feel our feelings. We are allowed to love unconditionally all people, all women, all mother and fathers, all the born and unborn babies, and to know that we have the capacity to extend our heart and create healing, starting with ourselves. So, here's my cats coming to say hi. That's what I wanted to say. Allow yourself to acknowledge the fact that we feel sadness of ourselves, or our ancestors, of our society. Yes, we are exhausted, but we are taking a break, taking care of ourselves, so we can come back and voice our wishes, our ideas. And we're coming together like a tribe to become the best of who we are, to channel our talents, our skills, our genius part into this world, because this is our time. It's going to be very exciting. If you look into the future is so exciting. If you understand this astrology, which I'm not astrologer, the future is exciting, but we need to make some decisions of where we go. And we do that with our consciousness. We do it with our heart. We do it by becoming grounded and not to try to escape into other galaxies. The opposite, invite the power of the galaxies to come and help, so they can bring us more light. So for all of the light workers and starseeds, the healers, the mothers, the environmentalist, the one who loves Mother Earth, the empath, the artist, the talented, every one of you, every one of us has a place on the wheel of how we contribute. From the east, from the south, from the west, from the north, your talent, skill has a position where you can influence the wheel of life. We'll talk about it when we are working together as a tribe. Until then, I send you my love, my healing, my understanding, and I hope you take care of yourself. and know that you are worthy of the best in the world, the highest frequencies of joy, health, and happiness.